The Taliban just stunned the world with what they're building. But here's what almost nobody's talking about. It's not just about construction, it's about control. Control over water, energy, and even trillions in untapped minerals. The same resources China already has its eyes on. One of these projects is so massive, it's the largest of its kind in all of Asia. And if you think that's big, wait until you hear how China is quietly expanding a $60 billion mega corridor straight into Afghanistan. But first, let's start 400 kilometers to the north. The Kosh Tepa Canal Project, the largest man-made canal ever built in a desert. This isn't just any construction project. It's a 115-kilometer water canal, wider than California's famous aqueduct. Here's why it matters. The canal will divert 20% of the Amu Darya River's flow across Afghanistan's dry northern plains. Once finished, it could irrigate 550,000 hectares of farmland. That's larger than the entire state of Delaware. This single canal could increase Afghanistan's cultivable land by 1/3 and potentially make the country self-sufficient in food. Right now, about 6,000 workers are operating massive excavators 24 hours a day, cutting through some of the world's harshest terrain. The total estimated cost? $684 million. The Taliban has already injected another $100 million, showing just how serious they are about transforming their economy. But here's where the tension begins. Neighboring countries like Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan are getting nervous. They rely on the same river to water their cotton fields, and Afghanistan's message is clear. We're taking our share, whether you like it or not. The Taliban isn't just building inside their borders. They're creating projects that give them regional leverage, and their most powerful weapon is water. Beyond the Kosh Tepa Canal, they're also constructing multiple dams nationwide. They recently restarted work on the Bakhshabad Dam, even while clashing diplomatically with Iran over water rights. The message? Afghanistan controls the sources, and they'll build whatever they choose. These dams serve more than one purpose. They generate hydroelectric power, reducing Afghanistan's reliance on imports. They expand irrigation for agriculture, and they give Kabul negotiating power with downstream nations dependent on the same rivers. Surprisingly, the Taliban has also made progress fighting corruption in these mega projects. Unlike the previous United States-backed government, notorious for losing billions in aid, the Taliban is actually completing infrastructure and using funds efficiently. Multiple reports confirm a sharp drop in corruption that crippled public works for decades. The Taliban's ambitions don't stop with canals and dams. They're rebuilding their old capital, a bold project known as Kabul New City. This isn't just urban development. It's a complete redesign of Afghanistan's future. Covering 722 square kilometers, nearly 1.5 times the size of modern Kabul, the plan includes 250,000 residential units to house between 1.1 and 3 million people. It's meant to ease the city's overcrowding crisis while creating a new modern hub. Phase 1 alone contains 206 sections. The Golden City area will feature 42,000 homes for 23,000 residents across 372 hectares. Construction on Parcel B resumed in August 2023. 6,600 housing units for 40,000 people. By late 2024, work began on Parcel 2.6, a $700 million investment adding 52,000 units for 33,000 residents. But this isn't just about housing. The Taliban envisions universities, hospitals, shopping centers, green parks, all supported by solid infrastructure, schools, utilities, clinics, and roads. The full project spans 30 years in 2 main phases, featuring commercial, agricultural, and recreational zones. If completed, it could become one of Asia's largest planned cities, permanently reshaping Afghanistan's urban future. And the Taliban clearly understands geography better than most give them credit for. Afghanistan sits at the heart of Eurasia's trade crossroads, and they're building infrastructure to exploit it. First, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor expansion. In May 2025, China, Pakistan, and the Taliban signed a trilateral deal to extend the $60 billion corridor into Afghanistan. This opens a direct route from China's Xinjiang province through Pakistan into Afghanistan, giving Beijing access to Central Asian markets and Afghanistan's mineral reserves. Then there's the Trans-Afghan Railway Project, a $4.8 billion, 573-kilometer railway connecting Uzbekistan to Pakistan via Afghanistan. It will slash shipping times from 35 days to just 4. Construction begins in 2025 and includes more than 300 bridges and 5 major tunnels through some of the world's toughest mountain terrain. Meanwhile, the Kosh-Herat Railway, linking Afghanistan to Iran, became operational in 2023. Its first cargo shipment, 655 tons of railway equipment, successfully arrived, giving Afghanistan access to Iranian ports and global trade routes. The Taliban's message is clear. You might not recognize our government, but you can't ignore our geography. And geographically, they have the upper hand. Maybe that's why they've revived the long-stalled TAPI pipeline project, first proposed about 20 years ago. TAPI stands for Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India, designed to move 33 billion cubic meters of natural gas every year across these 4 nations. And then, in September 2024, the Taliban did something nobody saw coming. They've officially restarted construction on Afghanistan's section of the $10 billion TAPI pipeline. Taliban spokesman Zabiullah Mujahid confirmed the news, announcing that work had begun on Afghan soil after a ceremony with Turkmen officials. This massive pipeline will stretch 1,821 kilometers, cutting through some of Afghanistan's most volatile provinces. Once complete, it could generate nearly $1 billion a year in revenue and create thousands of jobs. For the Taliban, this is more than a pipeline. It's a path to energy independence and regional influence. But here's the twist. The original TAPI project was first negotiated with the Taliban back in 1998, long before 9/11 changed everything. Now, 25 years later, they're back in charge and picking up right where they left off. And TAPI isn't the only cross-border project moving forward. Another huge one is called CASA 1000, designed to send clean electricity across Central and South Asia, lighting up millions of homes. This $1.2 billion power transmission network will carry hydroelectric energy from Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan down through Afghanistan and into Pakistan. Think of it like this. Central Asia has the water and mountains, the ingredients for massive hydroelectric output, but it lacks the dense populations that need the power. Meanwhile, Afghanistan and Pakistan have millions of people and growing cities, but constant electricity shortages. The CASA 1000 line will transmit 1,300 megawatts of electricity in total, 300 megawatts for Afghanistan's own use, and 1,000 megawatts continuing south to Pakistan. That's enough to power over 1 million homes. Here's what's remarkable. The World Bank approved the project's resumption in 2024, even though it still doesn't formally recognize the Taliban government. To make it work, they created a ring-fenced system, keeping all payments outside Taliban control while construction moves ahead. That means Afghanistan still benefits from the economic activity, jobs, and infrastructure, without direct access to the funds. They're not just using geography, they're sitting on a hidden fortune. Beneath Afghan soil lies trillions of dollars in untapped minerals, lithium for EV batteries, copper for electronics, and rare earth elements vital for modern technology. And for the first time, the Taliban is trying to turn that buried wealth into real power. The most famous example is the Ainak copper mine. China has held the mining rights there for 15 years, and in July 2024, they once again cut the ribbon to begin operations for about the 10th time. But this time feels different, because the Taliban is providing the security and stability that previous governments never could. Meanwhile, the Taliban has been heavily taxing mining operations across the country. According to World Bank data, they collected around $1.54 billion in revenue in 2022, much of it coming from mining and reconstruction taxes. Here's the fascinating part. They're using that mining revenue to fund all these other infrastructure projects, creating a self-reinforcing cycle. Mineral wealth funds roads and tunnels, which make it easier to extract more minerals, which brings in more revenue, which pays for even more projects. One striking example is the Salang Tunnel, one of the world's most dangerous roads. Every year, it claims dozens of lives, around 40 people annually. But it's also a lifeline that connects northern and southern Afghanistan, cutting through the Hindu Kush Mountains, 11,000 feet above sea level. Built by the Soviets in 1964, the 2.7-kilometer tunnel was designed for 2,000 vehicles a day, but now handles up to 9,000. Over the decades, it became infamous for its poor ventilation, choking fumes, collapsing walls, and deadly avalanches. In 1982, it witnessed one of the worst road disasters in history, fires and explosions that killed nearly 2,700 people. But here's what shocked everyone. In December 2023, the Taliban announced they had fully reconstructed the tunnel. They spent $100 million of their own revenue, roughly a quarter of the country's annual tax income. Moves like that prove how determined they are to build mega projects with or without outside help. If these developments succeed, Afghanistan's economy and its regional influence could change forever. Whether they succeed or fail, one thing is certain. What's happening right now in Afghanistan will shape the future of an entire region.